This is TLC to go.
Welcome to this deep dive. We're always on the lookout for ways to make teaching and learning more effective, especially for those of us in the health sciences.
Definitely.
Today, we're digging into a really interesting strategy. It's highlighted by the UTHSC Teaching and Learning Center, which is, a fantastic resource available to faculty here.
Right. And the strategy we're focusing on is service learning. It's a term you might have heard, but we want to sort of unpack what it truly means and how it can really enrich the educational experience.
Okay.
There's a definition from Cipher and Connors back in 2007 that still really holds up. They defined it as a teaching and learning strategy that integrates meaningful community service with instruction and reflection.
Instruction and reflection.
Exactly. To enrich the learning experience, teach civic responsibility, and strengthen communities.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit then. So it's clearly not just about sending students out to volunteer somewhere, right? There's something deeper going on.
Absolutely. That's the key distinction. The core idea is that what students learn in the classroom, the theory, the knowledge, it becomes directly relevant through their experiences out in the community.
Right.
And crucially, it works the other way too. Those experiences then feed back into the classroom. They inform and deepen their understanding of the academic material. It's very much a two-way street.
And for us in health sciences, that sounds incredibly valuable. Our students are going to be out there working with communities, addressing real-world health issues.
Precisely.
So what are some of the specific benefits? Has research shown how service learning helps our students?
Oh, the evidence is quite compelling, actually. For example, there was a 2022 study by Zhu and colleagues. They focused specifically on nursing students.
Okay.
And they found some really encouraging outcomes. Significant enhancements in the students' actual knowledge base.
So they learn more.
Yes, but also their ability to translate that knowledge, apply it in practical settings. Their overall skill development improved, and perhaps most notably, a real boost in their confidence.
Yeah.
Their confidence when it came to providing patient care.
Wow, that jump in confidence alone seems like a huge win, especially, for students maybe feeling a bit uncertain as they transition towards practice.
Exactly.
And beyond those kinds of core skills, what else have faculty noticed? Are there other impacts?
Well, there was a systematic review, Stewart and Mubena in 2015. They looked specifically at faculty observations across different studies. And the findings were quite broad, actually. They reported improvements in students' personal skills, so how well they understand themselves and interact with others, super vital in team-based healthcare, right?
Absolutely vital, yeah.
They also noted gains in academic and professional skills generally, and this is really key for the bigger picture, growth in their civic engagement and social responsibilities.
Ah, okay. So it's developing more rounded professionals,
Right.
People who understand their role in the wider community.
That's it. It's about more than just individual patient care. It's about understanding their role as health professionals within society.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And how does that community exposure, actually translate into deeper learning? How does it work?
So Buckner and colleagues did some interesting work. This was at Morehouse School of Medicine. They shed some light on that. They found that by getting involved in service learning, students gain this firsthand exposure to really diverse community settings.
Right, places they might not otherwise see.
Exactly. And this allows them to really see and, importantly, analyze the health problems that exist within those communities, often in ways that just aren't apparent from a textbook or a lecture.
Okay.
And maybe even more powerfully, it gives them opportunities to actually participate in designing potential interventions, ways to address those needs they're seeing.
So it really shifts their perspective.
Yeah.
From just learning about problems to actually seeing them, grappling with them, trying to solve them in the real world.
Precisely. It makes it immediate and tangible.
Now, you mentioned earlier and stressed that service learning isn't just volunteering. What's the really critical difference there? What elevates it?
Yeah, that distinction is crucial. Look, volunteering is obviously valuable, a great thing to do, but service learning has a very deliberate educational purpose woven into it.
Okay.
It needs to be a truly meaningful project, one that offers significant benefits both to the students they're learning, their skills, and to the community they're serving. It's not just about fulfilling hours or a requirement, it's about creating reciprocal value.
Reciprocal value. I like that framing. A two-way benefit. So how do faculty go about ensuring that mutuality?
Well, it really comes down to collaboration,
Right.
from the very beginning.
Collaboration between
Between the faculty, the students, and the community partners. They need to work together closely to identify genuine needs within that community. Needs that also align with the learning objectives of the course.
So the project fits the course
Yeah.
and it fits what the community actually needs.
Exactly. This ensures the students are doing work that feels relevant and impactful, not just like busy work. And crucially, that the community receives support that is actually needed and welcomed. It's about asking the community what would be helpful, not just assuming we know best.
That collaborative piece sounds absolutely fundamental for making sure the experience is genuinely meaningful for everyone. Okay, so for faculty listening who are thinking, all right, this sounds promising, I might want to try this, what are some key teaching tips? What's a critical element they absolutely need to build in?
Right. Well, without a doubt, one of the most critical elements, the thing that really distinguishes service learning and allows for that deep learning we've been talking about, is reflection.
Reflection.
It's the intentional process, the structured way students make sense of their experiences, how they connect those experiences back to their learning goals, to the course content. It's where the learning and service learning really happens,
Reflection. It sounds straightforward, but I imagine it can be tricky to facilitate effectively. How can faculty guide that process? What does, thoughtful reflection actually look like in this context? Is it just asking them to write a journal?
It can be much more structured than that. McCarthy's work from 2013 offers a really useful framework. He proposes 3 distinct levels of reflection. You can think of them as different lenses for students to examine their service experiences.
3 levels. Okay, what's the first one?
The first is what he calls the mirror level.
The mirror level. Makes sense. What's the student focusing on there? Looking at themselves.
Exactly. At this level, the reflection is very personal, very inward-looking. Students are encouraged to consider their own values, their assumptions, maybe biases they weren't aware of. What are they learning about themselves through this? How have their preconceived notions or ideals been challenged, or maybe affirmed? So prompts might be things like, who am I in relation to this experience, or what have I learned about my own strengths and limitations here? It's about that self-awareness piece.
Okay, so that internal processing, understanding themselves better through the experience. What's the next level then?
The second level is the microscope level.
Microscope.
So zooming in.
Precisely. Here, the focus shifts to a much more detailed examination of the experience itself, what actually happened. Students might reflect on specific interactions, describe key moments in detail, consider what went well, maybe what could have been done differently.
Okay.
Questions like, describe a significant interaction you had. What did you observe? Or what did you learn specifically about this agency or the people you served or the community context? It encourages that deeper analysis of the event itself, getting into the nitty-gritty.
Got it. So the specifics of what happened and their direct observations. And the third level.
The final level is the binoculars level.
Binoculars, looking further out. Exactly. This prompts students to take a broader perspective, to consider the wider implications of their service. They might think about the systemic issues, the underlying causes that contribute to the needs they witnessed.
The bigger picture stuff.
Right. Exploring potential long-term solutions, maybe policy implications, and also reflecting on how this specific experience might shape their future actions, their attitudes, maybe even their career paths.
So connecting it outwards.
Yeah. Asking things like, what are the broader social or political factors that contribute to the needs you observed? Or how might this experience influence your future professional practice or your role as a citizen? It helps them connect their individual experience to those larger societal structures and their own future.
Wow, that 3-tiered approach, the mirror, the microscope, and the binoculars, that provides such a clear structure. It really guides the student from the personal internal stuff to the specific details of what they did and saw. And then out to the broader societal context and future implications. It feels much more guided than just a vague, so what did you think?
Exactly. It's not just free-form journaling, although that can have its place. But by intentionally designing reflection activities, maybe discussion prompts, assignments, using questions that tap into these different levels, faculty can really help students move beyond just doing the service. They can help them truly understand its complexities and integrate those insights, integrate them into their development as, thoughtful, reflective, future health professionals.
This has been a really, really valuable exploration of service learning. Honestly, understanding the benefits, but especially drilling down into that crucial role of structured reflection. It provides such a solid foundation for faculty who are considering this.
Good, I hope so.
It's clearly about so much more than just, getting volunteer hours. It's a powerful pedagogical tool when it's done well.
Absolutely. It's about creating those really meaningful connections, isn't it? Between the theoretical knowledge we try to impart in the classroom and the lived experiences of the communities our students will eventually serve.
Yeah. And for those of you listening who are intrigued by this and maybe want to delve deeper and see some concrete examples or tools,
Mm-hmm.
the UTHSC Teaching and Learning Center page on service learning is a great starting point. It offers a wealth of information, links to other resources like GivePulse for finding opportunities, that faculty toolkit we mentioned earlier, and resources from other universities too.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there.
We definitely encourage you to explore how these principles, especially that structured reflection, could enrich your own teaching and your students' learning.
We really hope this deep dive has offered some practical insights into this impactful teaching strategy and maybe spark some ideas for your own courses.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We look forward to exploring more valuable resources and strategies for enhancing health sciences education with you again in the future.